I don't need your sympathy. There's nothing you can say or do for me, and I don't want a miracle. You'll never change for no one, and I hear your reasons why. Where did last night, and was she worth it? Was she worth it?
We're here tonight for our National Night Out to really talk about police accountability and gun control, and to ensure that we never forget the names of those who are the lost and the fallen. Hopefully everyone will get out tonight because it is raining, but we'll be here anyway. Safe Coalition and Charlotte Mecklenburg, NAACP. We thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Good. So because it's raining, it may affect the numbers, but that's okay. Those of us who are out here know that we're not brown sugar or sugar. We won't melt. We're here for a specific reason tonight, to really pay homage to the stolen lives and to talk about some ways we can change policies and laws. We've been blessed with the opportunity to have Congresswoman Alma of the 12th District here. The Congress is working very diligently to work on some gun control language, and that's important too. So we want to make sure that we have an all-encompassing fight so that everyone, not just some folk, but everyone would have a safe, good quality of life, sustainable jobs, and the ability to do whatever they dream to do without fear. So without further ado, I give you Congresswoman Alma Adams.
Thank you, Minister Corinne, and thank you all for being here. And yeah, a little rain's not going to hurt us. Matter of fact, we need the rain. Thank God for the rain. I am happy to see you. I'm happy to be here, and I come as a concerned and to some extent an outraged woman of color. I come as a mother, I come as a grandmother, a mother of two, one daughter, one son, and a grandmother of two sons and two grandsons and two granddaughters. During my 30 years of elected office, I've been centered on the side of the people. So I've come to let you know that I am still on the side of the people. I grew up in a community in Newark, New Jersey, where community was something that we felt a lot of pride about. And so as I have continued to work in government over these years, I know that there are a lot of people, and many of you here and all of us are experiencing a lot of pain because of the injustice and the systemic oppression that we still find ourselves faced with. As a congressperson, I am so concerned about that, but I am equally concerned about the violence in our communities from weapons that really don't need to be here. So I'm here to help build relations and to foster a better understanding of how we can change historically biased policies against people of color and people who are poor. You know, the Bible tells us that there are so many things that we need to do to take care of the poor. They're going to be with us. The poor will be with us for a long, long time, for as long as we're here. And so we have to respect each and every person. So I'm here to speak truth to power. I've always tried to do that, and I certainly appreciate the work of the president of this branch because of not only the struggles, but for I know the commitment that she has. As a black congresswoman, I can tell you that I am not any less likely to be pulled over and questioned because of the color of my skin as anybody here. As a matter of fact, I have been pulled over. A few years ago in Greensboro, I was pulled over, and I was going to say that I'm not in my congressional clothing right now, but I was dressed like many of us here. And I had a black tam on and a black leather jacket, and I was in a short black car, and it was a Sunday afternoon, and I was actually going to the bank to help a friend to loan them some money. And I had a TAM, and I was driving relatively slow. And all of a sudden, the police pulled me over. But I was in a neighborhood that was not considered the best neighborhood in town. It was infested with drugs and that kind of thing. So I guess to the police, I might have looked like a drug dealer. But I didn't have on my Sunday clothes or the clothes that I wear to the North Carolina General Assembly when I was there. So they pulled me over and kept me over there for about 15 minutes, checking my tag and all those kinds of things. And I ended up filing a complaint. But I've got to tell you that the newspaper even said that it appeared it was a little racial profiling. So I've got to tell you that no one is immune to that kind of thing. I encourage you to remain diligent in the search for answers and for the healing that we've all gathered here to do tonight. And so as we say their names, know that you have a fighter in rooms where our ancestors were once never welcome. And Martin Luther King reminds us that in the end, we will remember not the words of the enemy, but the silence of our friends. So it's important for us to stand up and to speak up for what is right. And I will not remain silent on these issues, and I'm glad that you're not. I'm actively working with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department and Chief Putney to devise federal standards that all law enforcement will have to abide by. That's what we need. It needs to be consistent across this country. And I want to acknowledge the leadership that he's given, placed in a compromising situation because of the HB 972, which subsequently will allow police chiefs to make the call as to whether the public can access body camera information or not. And I think that this is public to the public. So I believe that only through the proactive strategic action will we be able to bring about change. And with that, I want to just tell you, as a congressperson, Congress has got to do its job. And in Congress, we've got to pass sensible gun safety reform measures. Because the reality is that we can and we know how to tackle the issues of gun violence, which includes a more robust, efficient background check. That closes a lot of these deadly loopholes that are making gun trafficking a federal offense, banning assault weapons. Assault weapons should not be on the streets, they should not be sold, and you should not be able to buy them. And so we've also got to pass no fly, no buy. If you're on a list of a terrorist list, and we don't want you to fly in the air, you shouldn't be able to walk around and purchase weapons that hurt people. So while we've identified these issues, my colleagues in Congress have refused to take up these pieces of legislation. So that's why I participated in the sit-in. I sat in on the House floor. We sat in for 26 hours trying to make sure that we brought attention to these issues. And sometimes you have to do that. I'm a product of the 60s, and I don't have a problem sitting in. But we have to sit in so that justice will stand up. We have to continue to sit in so that each and every person is respected. We've got to continue to sit in so that our boys and girls, our young men and young women are not shot down by police officers. And we've got to make sure that we have the same respect in our communities. I just left the Hidden Valley neighborhood, and police officers were there who've been working with this community for a very long time, building relationships and forming bonds. And that's what we have to continue to do. So to the organizers of this event, to all of the folks and the leadership of the NAACP and all of the partners, I want to thank you for convening the space where the people can collectively heal and work towards viable solutions, because that's what it's going to take. And I wish we were all here under different circumstances. But you know, pain is a powerful force, and it can oftentimes bring people together to do incredible things. So I thank you for being here today. Here's to the pain and here's to the healing. And God bless all of you.
So before Congresswoman leaves, because she has many events, as you probably know, tonight is National Night Out. She'll be leaving shortly to go to other events, but we thank God for her. On August the 4th at Johnson T. Smith We'll be having
another convening, which will be a much larger convening, similar to what we did in Little Rock in Design Church.
And that will be a convening to deal with gun violence, gun control, police accountability. We will have Congresswoman Adams with us that day, as well as CMPD Chief Putney and some of his top officers to have real conversations about policy change. Tonight, we're going to ask you to sign up and also take a survey, but also sign up. We have city ordinances, we have state laws, and we have federal laws that we are going to be working on collectively and sitting them out to make sure that we do have some involvement, we do have some say, we do have some input in how things are shaped over the course of the next few months. Thank you for your time. I wanted to talk a little bit about what we're about to do. We're not going to keep you long because it is raining, but we came out tonight to pay homage to those who have lost their lives at the hand of police. We know that we have others who have lost their lives, but it's important that we lift this conversation up because institutional racism, systemic racism, implicit bias has absolutely devastated the African American community. When I was coming up as a little girl, we trust the police. In fact, if something went wrong, we ran to the police. Now we run away from the police. And it's incumbent on us to make sure that this country does something about the militarization of the police force. The fact that cops are killing people every single day. Just yesterday, for me to hear that Corinne Gaines had been killed and her son, who was 5 years old, was shot as well, just broke my heart. But it becomes a norm now. It has become a norm, and it should not be. It's not who we are as human beings. We have a God right to have a safe, good quality of life. We have a responsibility to hold everyone accountable. We are blessed to have Congresswoman Adams in the 12th District because she understands the issues and she fights for our rights. But it's not the case across the board. And so if you don't do anything else, it's important that you leave here with 3 things in mind. A self-examination to do something different, to change your heart and your mind if you don't think in love. Secondly, to make a decision to be more engaged in the process in the fight for justice. And lastly, to register to vote if you're not registered. If you are registered, to get someone else to go out with you and vote. And vote and vote. I'm going to now have Jeremiah Chapman begin the conversation and then go on to saying the names of those who've fallen. 695 people since January of 2015 killed at the hands of police.
Ask me why they fear you, so I can reference to your crown. Just to say you're royal, embellish in the sound. Gone but not forgotten, your legacy within. Feelings of your pain, as if I'm next of kin. Today was your end, but just know you rise again. Rising with the people, as we gladly take a stand. Seasoning their lies, but the truth is Sandra Bland. The truth is Karen Gaines. The truth is Jonathan Farrell. The truth is Janisha Fonville. The truth is Alton Sterling. The truth is Michael Brown. The truth is Tamir Rice. The truth is Philando Castile. The truth is never spoken, so today we say his name, the truth. So I'm going to say a name, and then I would ask that you repeat the name for me. Rodrigo Gardola. Dylan Noble. Randy Bleckler. Miguel Chavez. Joshua Herrera. Ishmael Miranda. Christy Sheets. Jay Anderson. DeRavis Rogers. Angelo Brown. Dayton Harper. Richard Deneni. Donald Myers. Danny Cups. Benjamin Zekovic. Pablo.
Safe Coalition, and Charlotte Mecklenburg, NAACP. We thank you.